Because that's been the
and becomes a hockey market.
That's been the whole thing, you know. People have been saying, you know, Arizona needs McDavid more than say Buffalo.
Oh, sorry, Arizona, not Phoenix. Yeah.
So yeah, it takes a while to adjust. Not calling it Phoenix anymore.
Yeah.
People are saying, you know, the league needs McDavid in Arizona to save that market, save that franchise.
Like Crosby did in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, because like they're based on the verge of being moved to Kansas City.
Kansas City. Remember when they moved to Waterloo?
Didn't
Jim Balsillie want to put a team?
He wanted,
in Waterloo.
Like. And they want to take the Prince of Hamilton. Like, I'm sorry. You're never going to get an NHL team in Hamilton.
Yo, Cobb's Coliseum would be nuts for a game, though.
Like, watch. the minute a move gets announced, you'll see the Sabres and the Leafs say, hell no, we're not letting this happen, because that's in their territory.
Okay. I'm going to bring this up, though. I would love a second Toronto team, though. It would just be amazing to see what happens if we had a second Toronto team here. Put them in like North York. Yeah, put them there. And if that team somehow if they were an expansion team, they get like say an Evander Kane who's having trouble in Winnipeg, and put like a diminishing Vincent Lecavalier in there as well. Yeah. First of all, I'd love to see how many tickets they would sell. I think they'd also sell out every night.
Of course they would.
Yeah, and I think maybe like Bell or Rogers leaves co-owning the Leafs and has their own team, and then it could just be like the Rogers and Bell Bowl would be. Oh man, it would be probably one of the best inner city rivalries in sports.
You know, it's funny. People always tell me that, you know, a second Toronto team would have trouble because the Leafs have a almost 100-year head start.
Yeah,
you know what? I don't care about a head start. A second team to lure away fans from the Leafs, they'll catch up real quick. They will flock this new Toronto or Mississauga team immediately.
I think it would put a fire under the Leafs' butt. Too. Yeah, right? Like, think about that.
It actually would.
They have another team to compete with. They're like, oh, shit, we need to win the cup.
It's true.
There's another team that could win the cup here as well, right?
Exactly. So. That's why, like, in Ontario, like, you could put a second team anywhere in Ontario. It could be North York. It could be Woodbridge. It could be Scarborough. Yeah. It could be Pickering. Yeah. And they'll go. They'll flock to...
I'd go watch that for sure.
They will flock to anywhere to go see a second NHL team.
Yeah.
But you know what? I do think we will get a Vegas team. I do think that's going to happen.
The Vegas Volcanoes?
Volcanoes.
Is that what they're going to be called?
The owner, he wants to call them the Las Vegas Black Knights.
I love it. That sounds great. But having a team in Vegas is interesting, right? Just because there's the whole gambling and betting things that happen in Vegas, and what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. So no, that team's going to have to go on the road sometime, right?
Of course.
But it'd be cool.
Yeah.
I just don't think hockey's the first sport that should go there.
Really?
I think you should put an NFL team. That'd be hilarious.
Roger Goodell.
Yeah. Like Goodell would be the guy to put a team in Vegas.
I don't know. Like, what I find so silly is that the NFL, you know, they're so anti-gambling. Yet the point spreads are shown on Fox and CBS. Like, you hypocrites.
Oh, I know. Yeah, no. I love gambling with football, man. It's so much fun.
Like, you know, and people are also, you know, so worried about, what if a player throws a game? What if a player
like that's the stuff. Yeah. That's the stuff that kind of worries me about putting a team in Vegas. Right?
I don't know about that.
There's so much money in Vegas.
True.
There's so much, and obviously it's like the gambling center of America. Right. And it would be interesting. There must be some sort of, like, obviously there's a lot of money there. There's some upside to putting an NHL team there. But I would love to see, first of all, Quebec come back first. And then I would love to see a team in Seattle.
Seattle, yeah.
Seattle would be, like, imagine a Seattle-Vancouver rivalry. Like, that would be awesome. Like a good Northwest Pacific.
That would be their first really true rival, because they have rivals, you know, Calgary and Edmonton, but it's not really that much of a rivalry.
Oh,
like,
no.
Across the board, 2 hours away, that's your true rival with Seattle.
Oh, yeah. It would be like the Buffalo Leafs.
Yeah.
Exactly. And of course, the Buffalo Leafs have a lot more history to that rivalry, but I don't know. I think it would make they'd make great storylines having those two Northwest Pacific teams.
It would, absolutely.
Seattle. And then, but yeah, the Nordiques, like, not the Nordiques, just a team in Quebec City would be amazing.
It would be.
Because Montreal fans hate everyone.
Yes.
Well, I'm just saying that because I'm a Leaf fan, so they usually just hate me. But just having a Quebec team, I think that'd be so much fun.
I guarantee you, first game line brawl, Montreal, Quebec.
Oh, for sure, 100%.
I guarantee you, it could be a preseason game. We'd see a line brawl with
What?
the new line.
Really?
I guarantee, like
with that, I thought you said you saw one.
No, there'll be a line brawl, Montreal, Quebec. First game, the new.
More fights than the fans, probably. Yeah.
Like it's just like watching the old clips and watching the old footage, like it was just true hate between Nordique fans and Canadian fans.
Mm-hmm.
Like
the Nordiques, they were so close to being so good.
Yeah.
Like I forget. I don't know how long it was until Colorado won their first cup.
The first year.
Was it the first year?
First year.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it was.
Really?
First year. And
jeez.
Like, cause that Quebec team, like they're already stacked. It was basically the same roster in Colorado. You had Sakic, Forsberg, you had Mark Crawford coaching them.
Yeah.
It was the exact same team that won the cup and beat Florida in 4 games.
Oh my God.
That could have been Quebec. It could have been. It should have been Quebec. And like that really sucked, like you were literally 1 year from a Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
And they won in Denver. Like that. It's funny. It's funny. They're gonna rebrand. There was actually going to be a new logo for them. You ever seen that before?
For
the Nordiques before they moved.
No, I haven't seen that.
They're going to be they're going to do a wolf logo, full rebrand.
Okay.
And leaked online. There's going to be they're going to ditch the whole igloo logo, design, dark navy blue and black jerseys.
Oh wow.
And it got leaked online like 5 years ago.
Yo, that baby blue was dirty. I'll probably I want to go buy it. If they come back, I'll buy a Nordiques hat just because.
A lot of people would.
I love that baby blue look they had.
Yeah.
I wonder if they'd be the Nordiques though.
I don't know. Like
I think they'd have to be because Winnipeg when they came back, the Jets are no go.
Yeah.
We're not being a different team. We got to be the Jets.
The thing is though that the NHL owned the Jets name, so they couldn't use it.
Okay.
My question is, do the Avalanche own the Nordiques name? Because if they own the name, they can't use Nordiques. They would need a new name.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I would. It would be pretty cool to have a team there.
Yeah.
And it depends on if they add the Nordiques, then they're gonna have to add another team in the West.
Yes,
right?
they're gonna have.
So, which could be Vegas.
It
right?
could be, yes.
Yeah. So,
like, I guarantee you, if you put a team in Vegas, the Vegas, whatever they're called, unbeaten at home every year. Every year they're unbeaten at home. Who's going to Vegas and winning?
Man. Oh, that would be
especially fun. Especially teams that won like in Edmonton, like Vancouver, like guys who are young players, they're gonna go and enjoy the city.
Do you know what though? What were the numbers for when the NBA went to Vegas? Because they had the All-Star game.
Yeah, the All-Star game
It
was there.
2000, it was mid-2000.
Yeah, it was 07, I believe.
And I didn't think it did too well. Like,
no.
I don't think the actual attendance and the skills competition and all that, I don't think they were as great as they thought they were going to get.
No, it wasn't that great. They were pleased people came, but it wasn't what it could have been.
Yeah. It's interesting. And obviously the NHL, as I said before, have some inside analysis on this.
Yes.
But the NBA has been there for the All-Star game, and they said, yeah, we're not going to go do that again.
Right.
They tried to, I think they wanted to make it into have a Pro Bowl in Hawaii type thing. But, yeah, I don't want to.
No. But the NHL, they should be doing the All-Star game in Vegas to test it. They should do that. An All-Star game in Vegas just to see the market.
Go do it, yeah.
Yeah.
And we'll see, it's too close to Arizona where I just don't see it failing, right?
Yeah.
So.
But the reason why Arizona sucks right now is because the arena's in Glendale. If they were in downtown Phoenix, it'd probably be a little bit better. But who wants to drive an hour and a half to go see pro hockey? That's the problem.
That's true.
It's like the only real team I think that in the burbs that does well is Ottawa because it's Canadian market, and because have you ever been to a Senators game before, Sam?
In Ottawa?
In Ottawa,
no, I haven't.
I've been to the arena and literally it's in Canada, which is a suburb which has nothing around it.
It's like the Mississauga of Ottawa, isn't it?
Yes.
Outside,
there's no district. It was built in an old cornfield.
Amazing.
Yeah. So
I've seen it. I remember driving by when it was the Corral Center.
Yes.
But I've never seen a game.
Arenas now, they can't survive just being on their own.
Yeah.
You have to build something else around it.
Mm-hmm.
And Toronto has a nice district right here with ACC. Edmonton's building one because Rexall Place where it is now, if you're there not to watch an Oiler game, you're only there to get stabbed or buy drugs. And I'm not kidding with that. I'm not joking with that.
Jeez.
Rexall plays in literally one of the worst parts of Edmonton.
Rexall though it still does have like the best ice though, right?
Not as much as it used to. No.
I remember reading though.
Yeah.
It used to just
it did for years. And it was
players loved playing there because it was just so fast, right?
It did, but now it's garbage. The puck bounces around all the time. Like it's really bad now.
Oh man.
But with the new arena district, like they're gonna have like their district, and it came out in a newspaper last week, Edmonton Journal. There's going to be a nightclub in the new arena.
That's dumb.
In the arena.
That's dumb. It's an arena, for God's sake. People are going to watch hockey games and live concerts and stuff. You're going to put a nightclub in there, too, to make more money? Oh, my gosh.
Like, it's just... the owner, Daryl Cates, he's greedy. It's not like greed.
That's just put a movie theater in there as well. Why not? Right?
Like, the whole area, there'll be a movie theater across the street. Like, it'll be like LA Live with the theater center.
Yeah.
It'll be like that. But yeah, but the nightclub, like... And the plan is to, have it open up after a game. That's their plan, but
can they call the nightclub the oil rig? Because that would be amazing. Yo, bro, let's go to the oil rig tonight after the game. Done. Like that's a conversation people in Edmonton will have, and I'm so excited.
Wait, you know what they should do? You know what they should do? Poke fun at themselves. Name the arena the Rebuild. Name the club the Rebuild.
Yeah. Yes. I love it.
That's what they should do. Oh my god. Speaking of teams, who are in a rebuild, going from rebuild to teams on the rise, the Toronto Raptors. What a difference has been over the past 36 months. A team that was bottom of the league to now an elite team. They've had some issues, had some bumps in the road right now. They've had their struggles. But to see this Raptors team still be a team that's going to be a playoff team and maybe win a playoff round, it's so nice to talk about them in this light, isn't it, Sam?
I despised the Raptors for so many years. Okay, let me give you my brief Raptor history.
Yes.
So, as a kid, I'd go. I loved basketball. I used to go to a basketball camp every year.
Nice.
And shout out to Gary Balog's Academy for Basketball in Mississauga. Great school. I'd follow basketball and stuff. And then I was about, I'd say, 7 or 8 when the whole Vince Carter stuff started happening. Right? And he won the slam dunk competition. Yes. And the Raptors started making the playoffs. And watching Vince Carter was incredible. I loved it. It was so much fun. But then the whole trade saga happened, right? And I remember again, as a kid who was not afraid to share his emotions, I was heartbroken when Vince Carter left. I was it hurt. We lost our best player, and I specifically know where I was when it happened too. It was near Christmas time, and my family had this function at a hotel, and someone told me, they traded Vince Carter to the Nets. I'm like, you're kidding me. What? I couldn't believe it. So then I felt like, oh man, this is terrible. Then the whole Chris Bosh years happened, and they made the playoffs, and it was fun. And then there were just the terrible Andrea Bargnani, Jose Calderon years. Hey, no hate to Jose Calderon. Yeah. I've met him at a bar. He's a really cool dude.
That's cool.
So yeah, really nice guy, but just couldn't. Well, I guess he went to the playoffs once with Bosh.
Yes, they did.
But those years were just, and everyone was chirping Colangelo because all he would bring in was weird European players, and no one knew if he was just trying to take a wild card guess with these Europeans, but. Did he draft Arujo? Do you remember him?
I think it was either him or Rob Babcock.
Yeah, because that was brutal.
One of the worst ones they ever made in franchise history.
And Bargnani was, I don't know what the hell that was. Did we could have gotten Iguodala, right?
Yes, they could have.
He was 3rd or 4th in that draft. And then this whole Masai Ujiri thing happened. So they fired Colangelo. Well, first of all, everyone was really excited when they hired Colangelo.
Yes.
Because he was this big guy in Phoenix. He helped that team get to the playoffs, and they made a couple conference finals.
They did, yeah.
So we were really excited with Colangelo, and then nothing really happened. And then Masai comes in, first year, and they just start killing it. He makes that trade for Rudy Gay, and I was like, okay, thank God, we're tanking for Wiggins. Here we go, right?
Yeah.
And it just had they were bad at the beginning of the year, weren't they?
Yes.
With Rudy Gay and that core, and he makes that trade for Patterson, Hayes, Vasquez and Salmons, right, with the Kings. And I didn't know any of those guys. Like I wasn't a big basketball guy, knew the big stars and stuff, but okay, cool. We traded Rudy Gay for a bunch of good core guys. But that team gelled, right?
Yes.
That team was like they came together, and I've never seen a team go from so bad to so good so quickly, right?
It was shocking.
It might be just because the Eastern Conference is such a terrible division, and it's the worst conference in sports ever. But I love Masai for making that trade, but you gotta give Colangelo his credit for this team. You have to, right?
You do.
Drafted DeRozan, drafted Ross, drafted Johnson, traded for Kyle Lowry.
Yes.
And who's the fifth guy I'm forgetting? Drafted Valanciunas. Yeah. Right? So our starting five last year, and not so much right now, but is all Colangelo moves.
It is.
Right? So I love Masai Ujiri. I've met him too. He's such a really down-to-earth guy. The only guy at MLSE who comes into work every day sporting a wicked knapsack. No briefcase from the side. All business, but still, rocks the business casual. But he's just, give him the credit is due, obviously, for that trade. And all this rebranding with We the North has kind of all been involving him.
Yes.
But you got to give Colangelo some credit for this team. And it's been amazing to watch. It has been a slow build, and Messiah was just lucky enough to be here for the team to just click. Yeah. But it's definitely a slow rise for this team.
It has been. You mentioned the We the North, probably one of the best campaigns in North American pro sports history, in my mind. Because not many campaigns last more than one season. Everybody has gone behind We the North.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
It was great because when I was interning there, that's kind of when the whole We the North started happening, right? And I got to work second-handedly with all these people who were behind it and working with the brand teams and getting it out. And it was such an interesting process to watch, right? Because these guys, the brand managers for the Raptors are as pro as they get, right?
Of course.
These guys are some of the best in the country, probably some of the best sports marketers in North America, right?
Yeah.
And I remember watching it before it was released in a meeting and being like, this is going to blow up. This is going to blow up. And I don't know how much they say Drake was involved with it and all that. I don't know how much Drake was actually involved with it. But I remember they tried to get him to narrate it.
Oh, really?
And I think he was just busy with some scheduling stuff.
Oh, okay.
He's a busy guy.
Oh,
right?
absolutely.
Biggest Canadian rapper probably ever.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really cool, and it's a great statement they made, right? Yeah. Because now the Vancouver Grizzlies haven't been playing basketball since when did they leave?
Left in 01.
01. Yeah. So we're Canada's team.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the vibe is out in Edmonton and out west and stuff, but especially here, we feel like this is Canada's team. This is Canada's basketball team, and if they got to a finals, we'd have an entire country backing them. I do think so, right?
Yeah, and they're the only franchise. The Raptors have been, I think, the most interesting franchise in terms of fan backing and marketing, because the only team that has an entire country with them. No other team has that, and you know what? In Alberta, there's Raptor fans. There's a lot of them. Vancouver, they missed the Grizzlies, but the Raptors won the title. They'd be happy too.
Interesting.
Because for once, Canadian basketball would get its due in the NBA, because growing up watching the Raptors for years and years and years, they've been to American media that team that's there, but we don't ever want them to be successful. Because watching Game 7 against Brooklyn last year, it was on ABC. It was a great game. But watching on ABC, ABC did not want Toronto going far at all. American networks, they don't profit off of Toronto doing well. They just don't.
It's interesting. They had ESPN here last night, I'm pretty sure, for the first game. And they're starting to get more because, again, they're a top 5 team
Yeah,
right now.
and they have no choice but to put Toronto on their screen.
They're good,
Yeah.
right? And they got to get their credit. I think it's exciting that America's taking notice.
Yeah.
But I listen to tons of American sports talk shows and all that kind of stuff, and they still don't get the same respect.
No, they don't.
From the States, and that's kind of what the We the North was trying to communicate with the States. They want the respect. Like, we are the North. Like, we're this powerhouse, and we need the respect. And that scrappy attitude, and you see it in Kyle Lowry. You see it in DeMar DeRozan, that they're out there trying to prove something, right?
Yeah.
They're trying to prove that Toronto's a basketball market.
Exactly.
An American scheme of things. But.
It's true. And I see, you mentioned the scrappy. It's like, I see there's some NBA teams, there's some teams don't battle 100% every night. You see teams that are half in the bag. They're not trying their hardest. But you see Kyle Lowry diving for a ball, be it in a 5-point game or in a 25-point game, night in, night out.
I laughed. I was at the remember the Milwaukee game.
Yeah.
With Bruno Caboclo's his debut. But this was, my brother texted me. I didn't even notice that this was a bad thing to do in basketball. But he said, so Kyle Lowry, they're up like 45 points in the fourth, right? And Kyle Lowry, I guess Milwaukee was coming. Kyle Lowry still took a charge. Supposedly there's some basketball respect. They're like, don't take a charge when you're up 45 points. Yeah. But he's like, oh my gosh, I'm surprised that. I think it was, I forget how you say his name,
Giannis Antetokounmpo.
That's how you say it, yeah. But Kyle Lowry was still out there, posted up, getting the charge. Like, they still called it, but he's surprised that he didn't punch him in the face for flopping in a 45-point game. But that's the way they play, and that's the reason why they signed him to that contract.
It's true.
Because he's that scrappy player who brings it every single night.
Yeah. I look at Toronto, like, this is a team, they have stars, but there's no guys who have an ego at all. There's not these mega, me first kind of guys. It's all about the team, which is great to see.
That's what the NBA, I was convinced that that's how you needed to win in the NBA, was to have that bona fide star, right? Because Cleveland was really good once they got LeBron James, like back before the Heat, right? Like, they were very good. Denver was very good because they had Carmelo Anthony. Yeah. And you needed that star.
It's true.
To back your team up and score 25, 27 points a night.
Yeah.
But seeing, like, the Raptors have totally just botched that, and you have Lou Williams score 28 points a night, or have Kyle Lowry score 25 points, or have DeRozan score 28 points. Like, it doesn't matter, right? This team, one of those guys can go off, and we can win the game.
Exactly.
So it's great. It's good to see, and there's also a lot of players out there who are trying to prove something.
Oh, without a doubt.
Greivis Vasquez came here. He was my favorite. Greivis Vasquez, I'm pretty sure, is like the biggest, is the happiest that he is here.
Yeah.
Because he got shot out, where was he? New Orleans.
Yeah.
And then he was in Sacramento for a little. Did he come straight from New Orleans, or was he?
I think it was from Sacramento.
Okay, yeah. But he was just shafted from both of those situations.
Yeah.
And same with Lou Williams. Exactly. Lou Williams was shafted from Atlanta, shafted from Philadelphia.
Exactly.
And we've given them the shot, and they're grasping it, and they're taking it, and I love it.
It's
great.
True. It is so good to see. You mentioned, needing the stars to win. I look at the LA Lakers, how with Kobe being injured every other day of the week now, this Lakers team just fell apart over the past 4 years. They went from playoff team, first round exit, to last in the Western Conference, or near last in the West. It's sad to see, because I'm not a Kobe fan, but I do hate seeing guys like this from my youth just falling apart before your eyes.
What have you seen? The Players Tribune did a great piece on Kobe Bryant, like going into his where the doctor gave his diagnosis of that he was going to play all year.
Yeah,
it was I felt the emotion though, like just watching, because Kobe Bryant puts it out on the court every day, right? Like, he is probably I put him top 5 of all time. I'm not going to say he's the best of all time, because we could talk that for days. But he is definitely an incredible player and has brought so much to the series. It's the Lakers are an interesting thing.
Yeah.
Because they were so good They had those dynasties. Kobe won a couple rings with Shaq.
Yes.
He won a ring with Pau, and like they were the team in LA now, right?
Yeah.
Now we're living in a world where I can't believe I'm saying this, but the Clippers are the team in LA. The Los Angeles Clippers are like the hot ticket in LA. I was looking. I'm planning a trip out there hopefully in the spring. I want to go see Blake Griffin and Chris Paul and DeAndre Jordan. Right? They've just like the fact. It's just because Kobe Bryant is obviously declining. He's in his upper years, and they haven't really given him too much of a supporting cast.
No,
right?
they haven't.
Even though Nick Young is my favorite player in the NBA. Shout out Swaggy P. It's just like, yeah, I don't think you can build a team around a superstar anymore. The league has changed too much.
Like, Kobe Bryant is the last of a lot of things. I think he'll be the last guy to play 20 years in the NBA. He'll be one of the last guys to play 20 years with one franchise.
20 years. I think you can see that in LeBron. Because LeBron came out of high school as well.
I don't know if he'll last that long. LeBron may shut down earlier than Kobe.
Interesting. I just think LeBron James. I love LeBron James because I like to compare him as the Michael Phelps of basketball. I know it's a statement saying because Michael Phelps is the best. No. But Michael Phelps is the best swimmer of all time. I'm not saying LeBron James is the best player. I'm going to say MJ on that. But like LeBron James is so good at basketball.
Yes.
But he's also a genetic freak.
He is.
And that's why I kind of make the connection with Michael Phelps. Michael Phelps had those double jointed ankles.
Yeah.
And he was just he was more than human, right? He had the body for a swimmer.
Right.
LeBron James has got the perfect frame and body for a basketball player.
Yeah.
He's what,
6'8",
240,
245.
Yeah. It's all muscle. He moves like a point guard. He can shoot threes. He can post out. He's impossible to defend.
Yeah.
Right? And that's, I think, why LeBron James is such an interesting player.
He is.
Is because he's not just an athlete. He's just an interesting looking dude.
Yeah.
Who dominates the NBA because he's just an interesting body type and is impossible to cover no matter the situation.
But you know what I would say with LeBron? He's made for this era. Because I don't know if LeBron, as big and as fast as he is, would be able to play in the era of Michael Jordan, where a guy his size will be getting whacked every time he goes to the basket. Remember, he got whacked last year against Charlotte, and he got pissed. If you put him against, say, the Pistons of 20 years ago, I don't think you'd have lasted. He'd have got hit every possession, and he would have lost his cool.
Agreed. LeBron's a little bit of a baby.
Yeah.
I do agree. I'll take that to the bank. But yeah, it's in the whole. We're gonna do this. It sounds like now we're gonna do the LeBron MJ comparison, and it's tough. They're completely different leagues.
Yes.
They're completely. Well, I wouldn't say they're completely different players, but they played in different eras.
They did.
And they. I don't know how to differentiate them, right? Like you can't say rings.
No.
I think rings are you're seeing now in the NFL. Like people are saying Tom Brady's now the best quarterback of all time. Amazing. I'm a huge Tom Brady supporter, but I just don't think like it's the Super Bowl rings are a team.
They are.
The NBA rings are the team, right?
Yes.
I think the biggest one is the MVPs and the stats, like how much, what were your points average? What was your assist average? What was your rebounds average, right? And MJ is, well, so you go say Wilt Chamberlain.
Yeah. Wilt for 1 year averaged 50 points per game season.
Well, that was also because there's no 3 seconds to keep.
No, exactly.
So that game was completely different than the game Jordan and LeBron played.
Yeah.
It's a tough debate, and I really don't like doing it, but I think it's. I'm going to say Jordan.
I will agree with Jordan also, too, because the reason why I say Jordan is best of all time is because every player, a Kobe or a LeBron, wanted to be Michael Jordan.
Correct.
That's the thing. Everybody wanted to be Jordan.
Yeah.
And when all of your peers, when the future wants to be you, how are you not the best of all time?
Correct. And it's amazing. I mean, it's amazing though when you get those Bush League reporters. You see them on ESPN and you see them. You don't really get them too much in Canada, but they'll have like the one-on-one interview with Kobe, and they'll be like, So, do you think you're better than Michael Jordan? And they just asked that question.
I know.
What the hell do you think Kobe's going to say, right? Kobe's not going to say, yes, I am better than Michael Jordan. No, he's not going to say that. Like, that is... I know you want to hear the answer.
Yes.
They're saying, yeah, and the best. No, you're not going to get that.
No.
And it's ridiculous sometimes.
You know they want to be that reporter that got Kobe to say that. They want to be that guy got that answer. They'll make their career, and it'll never happen. But what's funny is that Kobe, it came out a few weeks ago that he wanted to play with MJ on the Wizards. But you know what? Michael Jordan was even when Michael was 40 years old, he was such an alpha. I could not see him sharing with Kobe. I don't think it would have worked.
Kobe doesn't pass the ball.
No.
Right? So I don't think
Michael wouldn't want to share.
I don't think they coexist at all.
No, like
it's cool that Kobe wanted to play with Jordan. I'd want to play with Michael Jordan too. Why not? He's the best player ever.
Would Jordan want to play with you?
Probably not.
No,
I'm not that good.
When he was with the Wizards, Michael was a player, but he had so much control. He chose who became the head coach in Washington. It's a true story. It's
almost like LeBron though.
Essentially, yeah.
It's
when you're a player and you can determine who your coach is, that's incredible.
Nuts, man. You get a lot of power, man. Again, having those rings and having those numbers, man, definitely gave him the power that he had.
Exactly.
Right? So
it's true. You know what? And before we wrap things up, Sam, you talked about baseball season. The turf has been laid down at Rogers Center. Spring's almost here. Pitchers and catchers will report. And do you think, Sam, that this year is finally the end of the Blue Jays playoff drought? It's now 22 years.
Avery, I don't know if I can say. I don't know if I can answer that correctly, man. The Red Sox got really good.
Yep.
The Red Sox, they got Hanley Ramirez, they got Pablo Sandoval.
Yes, sir.
But the best. Okay, so when I was down in New York for pitch talks, they knew I was from Toronto. I was rocking a Jays hat during the entire talk, just rep the six. And they were saying, guys, you guys have probably the scariest lineup in Major League Baseball. And I'm like, yeah, I think we do now.
Yeah.
You got, if we can stay healthy.
Yeah,
that's the big if. But Bautista, Donaldson,
yes,
Encarnacion. Give me, there's more names than that. Russell Martin,
yeah. Interesting deal.
Yeah. I think that's a big middle of the lineup right there, right?
It is.
Those are all stars.
They are.
And again, the big if is now the relief.
Yes.
And the starting pitching is still a bit iffy.
Yeah.
R.A. Dickey, I don't think he has another Cy Young year in him.
No.
If we can get a decent amount of wins out of him, that's all I'm asking of R.A. I'm hoping Stroman has a big year.
I think that kid's gonna be great.
I think he's gonna be awesome. And talking to people in New York down in pitch talks, because he's from that area.
Yeah.
Right? So a lot of these new bloggers had written articles on him and had met him and said, yeah, he's gonna be something else.
Yeah.
He's just a great attitude. He's a great athlete. The fact that he was pinch running for the Jays most of the year last year is nuts. I remember listening to Tim and Sid last year, and Sid just would never have any of that. I couldn't believe it. But no, it's I digress. But yeah, Stroman's gonna be great. Sanchez, we don't know what he can be. Norris, who's also a highly touted prospect, he could be very good for them. I don't know if he's going to be playing most of the year.
That's right.
But yeah, the Jays are interesting, and
they are.
It depends on injuries.
Yes, absolutely.
And depends on how they're going to upgrade that bullpen. I still think they have some moves to make, and just going to put that out there, James Shields is still on the market. Right?
That's right. So, why not bring in James Shields?
Why not? But obviously, there's a price tag. That's probably the why not. But it's very interesting, and I don't know. I don't know if they're gonna make the playoffs.
I really because watching this Jays team, I've been watching Jays now 5 years old, and seeing them over the past 2 or 3 years, closer has been the big thing. I remember 2012, how Kevin Gregg literally threw away ball games,
Okay,
night in, night out.
He did.
Like, I think the number was they could have had 24 more wins if Greg didn't blow these saves. Would have been a playoff team in 2012.
So it's the thing is though, like, it's the worst way to lose. I think a baseball. It's the worst way to lose a baseball game. To have a lead, a slim lead,
Yes.
and bring in a guy who your pitcher's tired. This guy's going to come in and try and relieve his job.
Yes.
And save that win. And the fact that they got tons of those.
Yep.
They've had tons of those type of losses.
Yes.
It's so deflating for the team morale and
It
moving
is.
on. So they definitely need to build a better relief system.
Oh gosh,
you cannot lose that many games by that way.
Yeah.
Throughout the season, like it's just going to wear on your team.
It will, yes.
It will wear on your team, and then the baseball season's already ridiculously long.
Yeah.
What is it, 152, 162 games? Yeah. Like that is like amazing amount of games, and I applaud the MLB players for first of all playing all those games. That is an incredible amount.
Yes.
Those kind of losses will take a toll.
They will.
On a tired team in the middle of August, and if you're fighting for a playoff spot, that's going to deflate you.
It will. And last year, like seeing this Jays team last year, at one point have a 10-game lead in the American League East, and then throw it away, and even worse, I got behind them in the playoffs to see the Kansas City Royals come 2 runs of the World Series title, the first title in 29 years. Like really, everyone can do it except Toronto.
It's true. It's true. And this city was electric though when they were up.
Yeah.
I was 1 year old. One when they won their last World Series, 93. So I don't remember anything.
No, I was 6 months old.
Yeah, I have. I have a video of myself in a jolly jumper watching Joe Carter at the World Series home run. So last year was really exciting when they were up, and there was a buzz around the city, and this team, like I've never seen something like that.
Yeah,
we've been close, but by August and September, we're usually just out of it, and baseball and the Rogers Center is empty, and it's just boring.
Yeah,
right. If we can get a team that is exciting in August and September and making that playoff push, this city just needs a championship.
Yes.
So you saw it last year with the Raptors in the first round. They made the Jurassic Park. Yeah. People lost their shit. The Leafs, 2 years ago when they were in the playoffs, that was the city is awesome when the team is in the playoffs. They're so hungry for a winner.
I couldn't imagine a crowd outside Rogers Center watching a Blue Jays ALCS game.
Oh my god, it would be amazing. I know, and the fact is though, people were jumping, remember, on the TFC bandwagon.
Yes.
Because Defoe and Bradley are like, oh man, they're gonna be a winning team, and everyone bought TFC tickets and they were excited. Like people just want people to win here. Yeah. They want a winning team, and if the Jays can do it, good on them, because this city will go insane.
Jeez, like it's the one, because I have a friend of mine who plays Major League Baseball, Joe Kelly, pitcher on the Cardinals, and now Boston Red Sox. Awesome. Like he had said, like St. Louis, when they made the World Series against Boston, the whole city was chaotic. The whole city was nuts. Like I could imagine Toronto if this team won the World Series again.
The city shuts down, I think, during the World Series if that ever happens.
Yeah, if they win the World.
Knock on wood if that happens.
No one's won. The Jays win the World. Like I don't know. Let's see another walk-off homer, Game 7 World Series. Toronto shuts down for a week. Toronto shuts down for a week
until the parade. Yeah. Man, I think I'm gonna speak for all Jays fans. Obviously, we want to be in the playoffs.
Yes.
They gotta keep healthy. They gotta update that relief pitching.
Yep.
And it's gonna be an interesting ride.
It will be.
It will be an interesting season. I'm excited to see what the young kids like Pompey. Who else? Pilar. Who's the young second baseman we got from Detroit?
Oh,
we traded for Ghost. Yeah. Well, I'm excited to see him as well. Yeah. Even though I don't remember his name. Terrible.
Yeah. And now, of course, Adam Lynn's gone too. Like, how about that?
I'm alright with that.
Yeah.
Adam Lynn had a cool beard. Like he was fun, and he had a great couple years.
He did.
for like 2 years.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it was just time to go.
I'm glad, but at least his team is no longer out there signing Frank Thomas and Troy Gloss 10 years past their prime.
Hey man, I was so stoked when they signed Frank Thomas because I was so good with him in MLB The Show.
Yeah.
06 or whatever it was.
Oh god. Do you remember when he first came? They did a commercial where Frank Thomas was having a pillow fight with these kids, and Frank Thomas takes a pillow, knocks the kid off the bed, and they got CRTC complaints for child abuse.
Incredible.
I'm not even kidding.
I think I do remember that. Yeah. What was it for? Was it for like Jay's ticket?
Yeah, for Jay's ticket.
Oh my!
And he just smoked this kid on a pillow.
Hey man, dude, he's a big dude. He's a very big guy. Yeah, Frank Thomas. Who was Troy Gloss? Those dying
they
stars.
brought back for what, like, in 06, Pat Hankton for 1 year from the 90s team. They brought him back for 1 year. Like, really?
They did.
Pat Hankton, you bring him back?
Yeah. Oh man, I will always just miss Roy Halladay. I remember going. When did you move to Toronto?
I moved to Toronto about a year ago, but I've been watching Jays for like 15, 16 years.
I remember going to games when Doc would be pitching, and it was a for sure win.
Yeah.
Every single time, every fifth day when he was going on, you knew A, your team was going to be in it, or B, you were going to win.
Oh.
He was just, he was the epitome of professional.
Yeah.
He worked his ass. I remember hearing stories. Mm-hmm. He would work his ass off. He was, and he just would go out there and win baseball games.
It's true.
And so when he left for Philadelphia, I was upset because they left.
Right.
Not Vince Carter upset. But just the fact that he was going to a winning team.
Yes.
And that Phillies rotation was going to be disgusting because he just had Cliff Lee.
That's true.
He had Cole Hamels and adding Doc was just like they're supposed missing piece. They never actually won.
No.
But seeing him go there and go to a winning team, I was like, okay, good.
Yeah.
I know the Jays aren't going to win now.
Right.
So I'm happy for you. But I just remember watching Doc is probably my favorite. He's my favorite Blue Jay, other than Carlos Delgado. Delgado was great. Oh. Delgado was awesome.
I remember watching on TV his 4 home run game against Tampa.
Yeah,
like, he
was a beast.
4 home runs in one game. Like that. Mm-hmm. He could have had 5 because I remember he still had 1 more at bat to go. We could have set the record for most home runs in one game.
He could have. That guy was great, man, and he had a great batting stance, and he was awesome.
Should have been a Hall of Famer, but the stupid balloting took him off the ballot. He didn't get enough votes.
I don't think he should have been a Hall of Famer.
But you know, if
baseball Hall of Fame, we had this chat in New York. It's tough. Like, you gotta be the cream of the crop. I think it's very different than the NHL.
It is. Like, you know, my take is, you know, the guy he was one of the franchise players. He was so underrated because, of course, once again, playing in Canada, not much national attention south of the border. I mean, he may not have had the numbers of, say, a Bond, a Ken Griffey, but what he did for a franchise, that should be in calculations for Hall of Fame inductions. Like, I think 75% is way too high. I think guys being removed from the ballot is stupid. I think a 15-year limit is not fair. Because, I don't know, I think he needs a complete overhaul. I'm not saying, you know, make it like hockey where literally every guy who plays 1,000 games is a Hall of Famer, but make it a little easier. And let guys stay on the ballot. Don't take their names off.
Yeah, it's interesting. They have so many players that obviously going through that steroids era that should be on there.
Yeah.
I think what was talked at Pitch Talks was that the insiders were fairly certain that Mike Piazza will get it.
And he should.
And
great catcher.
They think once Mike Piazza gets in next year, that will open the floodgates for a Bonds, for a Clemens, for maybe a Palmeiro, but any of those that steroids era, that the floodgates will open because Mike Piazza is a part of that. Right?
True.
So it's very. I've been to Cooperstown, and it's very historic. It's a very good Hall of Fame. It puts, not to say the Hockey Hall of Fame is bad, but it's just on another level. It is so nice. And if you ever go to Cooperstown, it's a really cool city. The whole city is based around the Hall of Fame.
Really?
It's a baseball town. My brother's played in the they do like a little league baseball World Series.
Well, that's sick.
In Cooperstown every year. He's been 2 or 3 times, and it's a great city, and the Hall of Fame is a very special thing to America.
It is,
and they want to preserve it as much. There's a reason Pete Rose will never get in because
I think he will one day.
I think he'll get in once he dies.
Really, not until he dies.
I think he'll get a memorial vote or something, but it's a big thing. I think it's bigger than the NFL, bigger than
the NBA.
It's a very special thing, and the reporters really take pride in their vote and how they vote for the Hall of Famers.
Well, the fact that the fact that he didn't get 100% on the ballot, to me is like, really, who voted against Greg Maddux?
No one's ever got 100% vote. Ever.
Like, he should have been the first.
Greg Maddux?
I think so.
No, what? Like, Babe Ruth didn't even get 100%.
Which is like...
Or Hank Aaron.
Who's saying no? Like, who's saying... Like, that's what I want to know. Like, who is saying no? Maddux shouldn't get 100% or Ruth should get 100%. That's my question.
There's so many people, though. I didn't even know how many people they get to vote on this stuff. But the odds of getting 100% are very high.
Like, that's incredible.
So, like, they were talking at Pitch Talks in New York. Will Mariano Rivera get it? Who hated Mariano Rivera?
No one.
Yeah, like he's the best closer of all time.
Yeah.
He was a class act. He did a lot. He was amazing. Didn't say much.
No.
He kept to himself, and he won a lot of World Series for the Yankees, right?
Like,
so why wouldn't Mariano Rivera get 100% of the vote?
What are you gonna say? Oh, the old one World Series. He blew that save against the D-backs. I'm not gonna vote him in.
Yeah. There's a lot of things those voters go through when they cast that ballot, and they think of a lot of different things. They have a big grading scheme, and it was interesting to listen to these guys talk about it because I didn't even know how much went into it.
Yeah.
But the next couple years, I think we're going to start seeing those steroids go through.
I do think some of them should get in because even before steroids, Barry Bonds was still a 30-30 guy. Same for McGuire. You guys were still elite players before this whole thing started to blow up.
I just don't think you can't just forget that Barry Bonds is the all-time home run hitter.
No.
Like, you can't just keep him out because I guess steroids is a big deal, and I don't think it shouldn't be in sports.
No.
But that is the fault of the MLB. You cannot blame Barry Bonds because he was doing it and everyone else was doing it.
Yes.
He was just the biggest star to be doing it. You can't keep him out. That was your fault with your drug policy, and you weren't testing these players enough.
No.
And he was able to get away with it, and he broke a record.
Yeah. And even without steroids, like, people always assume, steroids are this and that. You need talent. Like, I saw Barry Bonds crush a pitch against the Cubs, up and in, over the wall into McCovey Cove. That was neck high, inside.
Did you see it live?
No, I watched a game live.
Okay, awesome.
Like, how? No human can do that. Any other guy fouls it off. Him crushes it deep for a home run.
He's also doing steroids.
Yeah, but still, if you're not talented, steroids won't help you jack. Yeah. You don't have talent.
No, it's true. Barry Bonds was a good baseball player. He obviously did these steroids.
Yes. Well, look at his body size from 25 years ago to 2004.
Yeah. I don't think you should be punishing him for the mistakes that the MLB had with their drug policy.
No.
I think that's not good.
No, it's not at all. It's not at all. Well, Sam, good to wrap things up. It's a blast having you on. You should come back sometime. We'll do it again.
I'd love to, man.